Good afternoon. My name is Alan McCoy. I am Director of Startup Support at University of Maryland UM Ventures. And I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you who joined us today for our next installment in Startup Fundamentals Workshop Series, both to live webinar audience and those who are watching a recorded version on our Startup UMD YouTube channel. This workshop series is offered by UM Ventures in collaboration with MTech at the Clark School of Engineering and Dingman Center for Entrepreneurship at the Smith School of Business. To everyone attending our live session, please feel free to submit questions using the Q&A function. You can see it at the bottom of your screen. Sometimes, depending on your configuration, it could be at the top. We are recording this session and it will be posted on our Startup UMD YouTube channel, so if you prefer to remain anonymous, you can submit your question anonymously. So today, we have a very interesting topic where we will cover how to use currently available technology, which have apparently also changed the name recently, and different technologies and platforms to start your business in only a few days, which was impossible even, what is it, Harry, like 10 years ago?
Yeah.
And I am pleased to introduce today's speaker, Harry Geller. Harry is a serial entrepreneur, angel investor, and startup mentor. He has been mentoring the University of Maryland startups, both students and faculty based startups for many, many years. And he also knows really well the topic he will be covering today, which is mostly focusing on lifestyle small businesses. So again, thank you, Harry, for your time and expertise in joining us today to discuss this important topic. And to those who saw Harry's presentation on this topic maybe was it 6 months ago or so, things have changed and Harry updated a lot of information, so stay tuned. I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself, stop my video, but I'm here monitoring the Q&A session. Please submit those questions, and Harry, the mic is yours.
Yeah, okay, and I'll, if you know, the questions are important to the slide page, then just feel free to interrupt me and ask. Welcome, everyone. I appreciate you coming. I am going to talk about how to quickly start a business via digital commerce. When I originally did this presentation, it was mainly focused towards product-based businesses, but I recently launched a direct marketing agency, which I'll explain a little bit more as we get through the presentation. And I said to myself, well, since I teach this presentation on how to quickly do it, I have to try and do it myself that way. And it worked pretty well. So it also works for non-product-based businesses, but I originally did the presentation for product-based businesses. So moving on, this is me, and enough about me. I've been teaching one way or another at University of Maryland since 2010, and part-time, but I'm pretty available, and it's been one of the great pleasures of my life to work with students and faculty and staff. So, quick scaling a product-based business. I don't need to go through every one of these, but there's maybe 15 things here that you have to think about how you're going to do these. And when I started my first business in 1986, you know, other than that, there was no web or internet at that point. A lot of these things you had to do, and it could take up to 6 months and cost $50,000 to get started. And, you know, nowadays you can do all this on this page in a couple of hours, you know, for probably less than $500. Other things you need, like getting a trademark and website and logo, which might take a little more time. You still can do this very quickly. You can do all of these things in a couple of days. So, you know, it's amazing what the internet has allowed us to do as far as creating businesses. And, you know, following these steps, there's really no reason, if you have a compelling product or business idea, that you can't get it at least up and running in a few days. So why do we why is digital commerce or e-commerce important? Well, almost 30% of the world population buys online. It trends. The big trend here is smartphone usage. Maybe a few years ago, everyone would buy online using their desktop, but now smartphones account for 61% of online sales. Amazon and other sites are really the go-to. Certainly, Amazon is for me when I need anything digitally. I just go to Amazon and look for it there first. So digital commerce is growing. It's here to stay. It's going to eventually completely take over the bricks and mortar retail. So it's a great place to start if you're thinking about forming a business. And some trends now. Mobile again used to be desktop. Mobile is way more important now, and it's growing. There's 3 times as many smartphones in the world as there are desktops. So, any web design or that you're thinking of with a business, you should start it in a mobile direction. So in other words, you really focus on the people who are going to be using or buying from you via their mobile. So, tailor it that way. Okay. Another commerce trend is, China again is a digital commerce force. China has 4 or 5 times as many people than in the United States. India is also a hyper growth area, and India, I think, is the 2nd largest population center in the world. So, any operations you have or future, you should consider these countries as potential buyers of your product as well. Really the biggest digital commerce trend you see is in what we call social selling, and that's Twitter and Instagram are probably the 2 largest, where you'll get promotions for products on that, and you can either click through to buy, or they'll send you to their website. Facebook with Facebook ads is becoming big. TikTok has 3 times as many users as Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram combined. It's mainly videos, but you're starting to see a lot of social selling trends at TikTok, YouTube as well, Pinterest, more niche type things. But it's important to look at these and have a presence in each one. So again, half of American small businesses don't own a website. So if you start your business, you will have a website. You'll be ahead of the people. Sorry, my computer is bouncing around here a little bit. Sorry. Hold on a second. Video again. There we go. Okay. So initial steps to quick scaling. So prototyping a product, either we do it at Maryland in labs, but you could do it at your house or whatever, or you have a product in line. But coming up with the basic prototype, really is the first step. Then you want to say, okay, I have a prototype. What's next? So you sort of have to validate the market. So who's your customer? What problems are you solving? How does your product solve these problems? What are the key features of your product? And everyone will tell you, yeah, that sounds good, but question always asked is, are you willing to pay for this product? So doing some what we call customer discovery is very important, and it's very important to be out in the marketplace asking people you don't know what they think of this idea. So again, testing your assumptions. What are you doing that's valuable? Are you bigger? Are you better? Are you faster? Are you cheaper? Just because someone else has done a product before doesn't mean you can't be more successful in it, but you really need to answer one of those 4 questions. And then, at that point, don't spend all your time trying to come up with the perfect product. If you think of the first mobile phone, it was, the size of half of your arm and only made phone calls. So, just do a small scale, what we call version 1.0, get a product out there, and then you can gather data from there on how it can work. Okay, so, the basic quick scaling steps, broken out into 3 main categories: legal, sales and production, and marketing, which will go specifically through all these. So legal overhead, you have to incorporate, and there's a bunch of different ways to do it. You can use GoDaddy, incorporate.com, Stripe Atlas. You can also, my most recent business I incorporated, I just went to the state of Maryland, and they have a pretty user-friendly quick business incorporation website. So, you can do it a lot of ways. It's very easy to do. It probably costs a few $100s to do it, but it's important that you do that. And then a lot of times people ask me what state is, the best state to incorporate in. And I usually default to Delaware because they seem to have the, fairly low incorporation fees and pretty easy to do and very business friendly environment. But I've also done it in Maryland, or where I live in Virginia, and where I live in Florida. So really any state, but if you're unsure, you can always default to Delaware. That'd be a good start. A lot of these websites like incorporate.com, they have a checklist of where you should incorporate sort of tool on their website. So it's very good. You need to get an IRS employer identification number, and you just go on the IRS website. It's very easy to do, and it's free. If you feel you have something really unique and you want to protect it, then the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office website is they have a system called the TEAS system. It's very useful and pretty easy to do. It costs $300 or $400, so you might want to consider, do you really need that or not? I use for URLs usually GoDaddy, but there's tons of other ones out there, and they're all pretty user friendly and fairly cheap to use. Different business banks, payment systems, and credit cards. Brex is a credit card company. Most of, I'll get into a little more, but most of the shopper websites have their own payment type systems. But they're pretty easy and out there and pretty cheap to initialize as well. For sales and production, really, to me, your first step, where I always go is I start with Shopify and set up a Shopify sales site. Very easy, very user friendly. Amazon as well. You can do a lot of these and sort of have a multi-channel way to sell. So Shopify, Amazon, Etsy, eBay are all real good places to consider starting to sell, and they all have really easy to use tools about how to set things up.
Barry?
Yes.
Can I interrupt you for a quick question that was related to the stuff you were talking on like a slide ago?
Yeah, sure.
Shall it be at a disadvantage if we need to raise funds from Maryland system? Also, how important it is that initial decision of incorporation can it be changed later easily?
Easily, not so easily. It'll cost you some money. It can be changed if you're planning, and a lot of students and faculty that I deal with, are planning to raise money through the state. It's better to be in Maryland. Better to incorporate in Maryland, and there's really not a whole lot of difference between Maryland and Delaware. So, I would recommend just doing it in the state you think you're going to be raising funds from.
Thank you. Yeah, and just to add, as long as you're headquartered in Maryland, you should be fine too. So
that is also true.
Thank you. Sorry for interruption.
So again, with sales and production, inventory control management, there's, again, Shopify and Amazon offer that. Companies ShipBob or Zentel. Zentel's is a company that came out of University of Maryland, located in Columbia. They have very good software that manages your inventory, manages your warehousing, and shipping in domestic and international. And I know both Shopify and eBay offer discounted shipping as well. So they're all very easy to use and very user-friendly. Sales and production also, you have to think about accounting systems, prototyping, how do you source products, how do you return things? If you, reach scale, how do people return items to you that, they don't like or don't fit? So, companies like Xero and QuickBooks are very, easy to set up and, pretty inexpensive for accounting systems. These are just ones I've used. There's other ones out there as well. Prototyping, University of Maryland has a prototyping lab, the Terrapin Works, and we've used that in the past. They're very, very user-friendly. Product sourcing, spending some time on Alibaba, which is the great shopping mall of the world, will give you product ideas and give you ideas about how you can source and create products. Return management, again, a lot of Shopify and those kind of companies offer that. And I've used another company called Returnly in the past, but if you just Google returns management, 100 different places will come up, and some good companies there. So these I tend to list ones I've used in the past, but there's certainly other ones out there as well. Marketing, if you need logo help, besides, again, the ones listed before, 99 Designs is a good one. Fiverr is a really good one, pretty easy to use. GoDaddy can help you with websites, Squarespace if you want to do your own websites. The social media presence, as I mentioned before, Twitter, Facebook are excellent. And then, there's a ton of companies out there that help you with SEO marketing. One I've used in the past that's located, again, in Columbia, Maryland, Web Mechanics, is very good, but there's a lot of them out there as well on SEO. So. I mentioned Shopify before, and again, that's always, my first step. And, they have fully integrated e-commerce or digital commerce solutions. You can use them for website logo development. They have a great online store. They have a great point of sale, which includes payments. Because again, you want to have how you're going to accept payments thought out in advance, and as many different options as you can give people, the more product you're going to be able to sell. They do inventory management and shipping. And, if anyone's thinking of starting a product-based business, I would say go on Shopify and just look at some of their tutorials. They're really, better than anything I'm offering here. Really do a good job there. Amazon as well. It's, everyone uses it as a sales channel, and it's, a great way, great way to get started. Usually if you do business with Amazon, they'll give you some, web services, free credits or free credit hours, which will help you save money. You can send Amazon your product and they'll send it out and fulfill it. They have what's called Seller Central, where, you sell the product, but you send Amazon the order and they send it out. And they have a Vendor Central when you get big enough in scale, which one of my companies we use, and we just send them the raw product and they buy it at wholesale and then they sell it and fulfill it themselves. So Amazon, like Shopify, has a lot of great tutorials, and, just spend, go to the bottom of the Amazon website and spend an hour, you'll figure out some amazing things they have. So all this sounds great, but, what about money? And, that's always what everyone's concerned about. And, so I just don't really have a specific recommendation. I just have listed some of the different ways you could look at fundraising when you're starting up a company. And, the first and probably the most popular and frequent is just self-funding or bootstrapping, and that's where yourself or you and your team members put their money together. The advantages of that is, you own 100% of the company, or you keep the equity, but you risk your own capital. And another advantage is that if you're going to in the future go out for investment, people like to see that you've put some money or you have some skin in the game. Another really popular and common way to do it is what we call the friends and family, and they may be willing to help. I would, from my experience, it's better to structure the friends and family money as loans and not equity, because that causes a lot of disagreements. And I would also strongly suggest putting everything in writing. If it's a loan, do a promissory note. If you are going to offer equity, do it through a safe note or something like that. So, the more things written, the less disagreements you're going to have in the future. Other options out there are crowdfunding, and there's companies like Kickstarter, GoFundMe, Indiegogo, and they, from my experience, they seem to work best with unique or innovative products. One of my person who heard one of these talks maybe a year ago had a pretty unique product she started. And she did it on Kickstarter and got funded on that, and it worked pretty well. When you do crowdfunding, it does take time, and a lot of it is dependent on how good a video you shoot. So you might need to look for professional help if you're going to do crowdfunding. But for the right product, it's an excellent sales channel. I would, if you have an idea of a product, I'd go on Kickstarter, GoFundMe, Indiegogo, or any of the other ones, and see what similar products are out there and how they did it, and if they raise money or not. I tried Kickstarter with a golf-related product I had, and what we learned was that there wasn't that much interest on Kickstarter for golf-related products, so we never wound up doing it. So, but that was our research. There's incubators and accelerators. They're everywhere. Y Combinator, 500 Startups, Techstars. The university has various different incubators and accelerators like Startup Shell. Some of these places, can provide funding and workspace and mentorship. Usually, the more popular big ones like Y Combinator will usually charge you, take a piece of your company. They might invest some in you, and but there's many local, national, regional options. Ala can probably add to this a little bit, some of the different options out there, or she can help you after, if you're interested in that. Other ways for fundraising, loans, credit card, debt. Not a huge fan of these, but it's a lot of risk capital. Credit cards have, pretty high interest rates. Credit cards can work well if you're, you have to buy a lot of inventory, but you're pretty confident you can turn it. Then, a credit card is a good way to start up. There's companies out there that also do this, like Circle Up and Fundable and Cabbage, and there's if you go on a web search, you can find a bunch of them. Some of them are pretty reasonable companies, particularly if you have inventory-based businesses. Also angel and seed investing. If the idea is compelling enough, the thing with angels and seed investing that aren't friends and family is, the idea, they're looking for a big return. So the idea has to be compelling enough for them, or they're really not going to be that interested in it. And, they will take equity in the company, and they will, you'll have to cede some control. So you need to be, aware of how that would work. So as I said in the beginning, some real examples, of companies that we've used these quick scaling methods on is a company I'm a partner in called Grip Boost, and we originally invented a gel that recoats football gloves. And we had the company started and up and running in about 3 days. The logo I think Olive may remember this. We went through a bunch of different logo iterations, but I mean, that was, we had the first logo in a couple of days. We established it probably 7 years ago. We've gone from one product to, 20 SKUs. We started initially selling on Amazon. Now we're in most of the major sporting goods companies. We'll do over 8 million in sales in 2022. And we have probably 7 of the top 20 NFL receivers wearing our gloves right now. And we're sort of become a cult product in the NFL. Another company Al and I have worked very closely with over the years is Blue Lean, and it's a anti-age. Their first product was an anti-aging cream that came from a patented invention out of a University of Maryland lab. They've expanded to 5 or 6 different products, including they just launched a brand new sunscreen, multi-channel sales. They're in a lot of higher end retail stores, and again, they followed the quick scaling method. When the professor came to me on it, we explained how to get it started. She had it pretty much up and running in 3 or 4 days. So, these are some real life examples. As I mentioned earlier, I formed a direct marketing agency that will help University of Maryland athletes with name, image, and likeness. And when the coach came to me and asked me to help him set it up, I said, well, I'll use the quick scaling method. And we literally had, everything I explained at the beginning up and running in about 2 or 3 days. Fundraising took us a little longer, but it's been a very successful collective. It's supporting the Maryland men's basketball team. We're finding, personal brand deals for these players, and, they're doing some social media marketing. So again, this was up and running in 3 or 4 days. And when I say up and running, I mean, it's up and running, but it's not perfected. So, once you get up and running, then you got to see where you can save money, what you can do better. But, again, it shouldn't take that long to get something started. And I always bring the end of this towards what gave me the inspiration to even do this presentation was both my sons, when they were in high school or first year of college, started small businesses. And, they sort of followed these methods and taught them to me because, again, young kids know more about what's going on the internet than an older guy like myself. But my son Jackson had a sports related product called Gator Feet, where they were just rubber feet that fit on the bottoms of golf bags. And he, incorporated, launched it, went on Alibaba, figured out the product development, less than $1,000 investment. And he had about $3,500 in sales in 6 months. When he graduated high school, he sold it. But, it was a great learning experience for him. And then my younger son, Will, doesn't like raisins, but he loves trail mix. So he founded No Raisins Trail Mix. And again, with the help of his brother, launched it in 3 days, less than a $2,000 investment because of inventory. And he was selling about $5,400 in sales on Amazon in 1 year. So watching both of them do it sort of said, wow, this is really something we could teach other people how to do if these guys can do it. So again, I think I was going to send this out to everyone, but, a key tool summary. And again, these are just ones I've used. A little bit of research, you can come up with your own if you don't like some of these options, but there's tons of options out there for all these. And the disclaimer, don't forget to get the proper permits and licenses, insurance, which you can also find online pretty cheaply, by the way. You have to pay annual incorporation fees, and you have to pay taxes. And that is that.
Thank you, Harry. So now I would like to thank you so much. This is, as always, very informative. So now I'd like to open up the floor for questions. So you can either type them up or you can raise your hand and I can unmute your microphone. And you can ask any question. And I will send out a link. So this video will be posted on Startup UMD YouTube channel. And I'll also send out the link and a PDF of these slides, so you can refer back, because I know it's a lot of information, a lot of names.
Yeah, and I tend to go quickly. If anyone has any questions later, they can always email me too. I'm pretty responsive.
So here's a question: what kinds of businesses do you help with? Is it mainly e-commerce or B2B?
You know, I help a lot with e-commerce type businesses or digital commerce, but you know, our startup UN community that Ala is the head of, we have something for everyone there. There's no business someone doesn't have an expertise in.
Yeah, so Harry has helped a wide variety of businesses, anywhere from cookie delivery and funny T-shirts and such to high-tech startups. So
yeah, I tend more with again, product-based businesses, food services. I used to own restaurants, so I know a lot about food services, things like that. High tech and stuff we have, I can help, but we have other people that are probably a little bit better than me on that. Life sciences, there's a few EIRs that help with that. And, marketing, a bunch of us are very good at marketing. So.
Right, so here's a question. Do you have to have a brick and mortar address to incorporate?
Yeah, probably you have to have some sort of, you can't use a PO box when you're incorporating. So, but I just use my home address.
Yeah, you can use your home address, or you can register at you can rent space at WeWork here in College Park, or just use your home address.
Yeah, or you could go to a mailbox type company like the UPS store and rent a mailbox there and get their physical address. But yeah, I don't think you can incorporate with a PO box.
Yeah, and University of Maryland provides mailbox agreements to companies that are new, but you have to be a University of Maryland student or faculty or staff to be able to qualify, and you can have a mailbox only agreement for 3 years where you can use the actual address. Let me know if you're interested in that. Also, so as I mentioned before, Harry is one of our entrepreneurs in residence, and he and some of the other entrepreneurs in residence are available for weekly meetings. So if you have an idea for a product-based business and you're confused, or Harry was going through a lot of information, I know, and you would like to specifically meet with him and discuss your idea, he's available. I'm going to type up the URL for sign up. It's go.umd.edu/EIR 2022, and you can see profiles for other EIRs and Harry, and the link to schedule time to meet with him or other EIRs. So there's a comment that you have, was a great and useful presentation. Thank you. So if there are no more questions, I'd like to thank everyone for attending, and please follow up with me or follow up directly with Harry. Sign up to meet with him. He's available weekly, or with any of our other EIRs, and wish everyone good luck with your product-based businesses. And thank you so much, Harry. Yeah.
Thank you all. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.